Rajasana Yamunatira Vanachad Yamunatira Vanachad Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Hare Krishna. So first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you. And my voice, due to cold, is kind of like a radio that is running on flat battery. Can you all hear me? And also, yes, my English will be different because I'm from Africa. I'm not from UK or USA. I hope you will understand me, right? So basically, the verse today is what? Text number 14. So this is chapter 7, text number 14. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 chapter, verse number 14. Devihesha guṇa-mayair Mama Maya Duratyaya Mamevaye Prapadyanti Mayamitam Tarantite. Translation: Devi, transcendental, he certainly, Esha, this guṇa-mayair, consisting of the three modes of material nature. Mama, my. Energy, duratyaya, very difficult to overcome. Mam, unto me, ever, certainly. Yea, those who prapadyate surrender, mayam, idam. This illusory energy, taranti, overcome. They. Translation by Prabhupada. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although living entities are part of his energies and are therefore, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya Buddha, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult. Even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyam, Mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya illusion is false or temporal, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Another meaning is guna, or rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by the person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna or Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva, although Brahma, Shiva are greatly elevated and almost on the level of Vishnu. It is not possible for such incarnations of Rajagun, passion, and Tamagun, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya, therefore he alone can give release to the conditioned souls. Vedas Sweta Swahantara Upanishad 3.8 confirms this in the phrase Tam Eva Vidito, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradatta Sarvesham Vishnu Eva Samsayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. So that is the end of the purport. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is Lord Krishna speaking to Arjuna, saying that this divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So when we look at anything that we study, it falls into three categories. One is that we gain knowledge, which is theoretical. Number two is what is called skills. Skills means that knowledge gives us practical ideas, how to put it into practical life. And then number three, we kind of gain values. Values means what is important about what is being taught in that particular verse or that particular book. So here, in a similar way, the subject is about Devi Shakti. So they are different energies of the Lord. It is said that there is Antaranga Shakti, there is Bahiranga Shakti, Tataksta Shakti. So Antaranga Shakti refers to the spiritual energy, and then there is the material energy, Bahiranga, and Tatastha Shakti refers to living beings. So the living entity is in between. In other words, he is not in the spiritual world, but he is just here in the material world where the material energy is dominating. So Krishna says, this material energy is my energy, is divine. Now, how is it divine? Because it's working maya dyakshena prakriti shuyate sachara charan hetunanena konteya jagat viparivartate. That this jagat producing moving and non-moving things is working under my direction. So it's working by Krishna's order. So here he's saying is difficult, which is a very, very important point. Why is it difficult? It's because when a living entity come to this energy, according to Krishna, Icha Dvesha Samudena Sambhavan, that he is propelled by desire. Desire and hate. So it's the desire that brings the living entity into the material energy. So when the living entity comes to the material energy, and then material energy does two things. Avaranatmika, prakshepatmika. It covers the original knowledge of his relationship with the Lord or his or her spiritual existence. And then make him think that, oh, he is part of this material realm. So this, just as the spiritual energy is divided into three, Ladini Shakti, Sandini, Samvit. So the material energy divides itself into three: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, tamagun. So the mode of these modes are the ones that are binding in this material creation. So this material energy is working under Durga Devi. She is the superintendent of this material world. She is the one that is in control. So this material world is like a school. Just like when we went to school, we were ignorant. I remember when I was a kid, I used to see many kids coming from school, seemingly happy, jovial. And in my mind and the mind of my friends who were ignorant about school, we thought the school was just a fantastic place with a lot of facility for kids to have good time. That's why these kids were so happy coming from school. But no, it was not exactly like that. They were happy being out of the classrooms, going home. So our desires to go to school increased day by day upon seeing those students. And then, of course, we became of the age to go to school. Our mothers got us school bags, school uniforms, everything, school, pencils, pens. We were happy, thinking that finally, now we are going to that place called school. And we were registered. It took 2 days because there are so many kids, first years. And then after 2 days, we were separated. We put in 2 different classes. In those classes, there were people that we never heard of called teachers. And they were serious people, not like those aunties at home who tell you, you're such a cute kid. No. These were very serious people. They were like police ladies and men. So then we got a message. This school is not a place that we thought of. So then, in those days, in schools where I come from, they had what was called a corporal punishment. Hit a kid with a stick was allowed. So can you imagine coming to a class and you can see the sticks in the corner of the classroom? And the teacher is holding one, and then you wonder, how did I get myself here? And then I tell you, after first day, we thought we don't want to come to school. And we told our mothers, this place, school, is not really a place for us. They said, now you are students, you have to go to school. So that way, material nature works like that. It's like a school. But the living entity come into it thinking that, oh, it's a place to fulfill my desires. I'm going to have fun, but then in the end, he's stuck. That's what we call Victoria Falls syndrome. In Africa, we have a famous falls called Vic Falls. As you row your boat towards the Victoria Falls, not knowing that it is there, as you hear tons of water hitting the rock below, you wonder, how did I get myself here? And then it's either you jump out of the boat, swim out, or otherwise you collide with the flow. So in that way, the material world works like that. The living entity does not know, he just has desires. He just wants to have fun. But sometimes he ends up in a situation that he or she did not expect. So this Devi Shakti is working like that. Yes, sometimes we found ourselves facing obstacles. Therefore, Krishna says that only those who can cling at his lotus feet can easily cross beyond it. So this is the secret. That now, how do you surrender to Krishna, or how do you cling at his lotus feet? But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So there are different ways of surrendering to Krishna, but the main one is smaranam, to always remember Krishna. Just like if you ask a Christian, what does it mean to be religious? When you go to university to study theology, you study different religion or denominations in terms of core beliefs. Like for example, if you study Islam, they believe that there's only one God, there's Allah, nobody else. If you say Krishna is God, they say no, there's only Allah. They don't accept it. They say Krishna was like a prophet who later the Hindus claimed to be God. But actually, it's only Allah. If you study Judaism, they believe that to be religious in that faith, you must accept the laws of the Torah that were given to Moses, which are also there in the form of the 10 Commandments in the Bible. You must observe the Jewish festivals like the Shofar, Yom Kippur, the Sabbath also. Yes, and then you are religious. As Christians, what it means to be religious is a different thing. It means to accept the passion of Christ. How Christ sacrificed his life for the redemption of people's sins. That's why they believe Jesus loves you. Then there's no one who can deliver, who can save you except Jesus. Because he proved that by allowing himself to be to die on the cross. And then he rose again to prove that he had conquered death. They believe that someone who cannot conquer death cannot save you. And then who else? You ask the Hindus, you get different answers from different Hindu denominations. Ask Hare Krishna. Also, some will say it's to chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles. Some will say so many things that are good or supportive. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu, Parasevanam, yes. But in the Bhagavad Gita, the answer is Smaranam. Yes. So here, this is the seventh chapter. In the end of the 7th chapter, Krishna is telling Arjuna that those who are in full consciousness of me, knowing me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestations of the demigods and all methods of sacrifice. He says they will understand and know him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Which propels Arjuna to ask questions in verses 1 and 2 of the chapter 8. So one of those questions in the end, in chapter 2 of 8th chapter, is who is the Lord of sacrifice, referring to the super soul? How does he live in a body? In which part of the body? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? And Krishna says, Yam yam papismaram bhavam, that whatever state of being one will be at when he leaves his body to that, he will attain. And whoever will remember me alone at the time of quitting the body, certainly that person will attain to my nature. For this, there is no doubt. So in that way, Prabhupada, in that purport 5, in 8.5, he explains that this is very, very important, smaranam, to remember Krishna. So in that way, to be religious or to be Krishna conscious, it's not about chanting 64 rounds or chanting 100 rounds. It's about to remember Krishna. If chanting 64 rounds help us to remember Krishna, that's perfect. If our dressing of the deities, our cooking for the deities, and all what we are doing in devotional service help us to remember Krishna, that's perfect. So in that way, that is how we can surrender to Krishna, by smaranam, always remembering Krishna. So that is a secret in the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, everything that we are doing is supportive of this point of remembering Krishna. Yes. We can chant 64 rounds, we can chant so many rounds. But if that doesn't not increase our remembrance of Krishna, and then the goal cannot be achieved. So Krishna says, Ante kale chamam eva smaram karivaram. That if one remembers me alone at the time of quitting the body, that person will attain me. So here, that's how we can overcome Devi Shakti. Even though Devi Shakti is duratyaya, difficult, but Krishna says, those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond her influence. So that's a secret in this verse. When Krishna talks about surrender, he's talking about remembering him. Yes. So that is just like, for example, Prabhupada. He was praying. One devotee saw Prabhupada praying, and he was wondering what Prabhupada is praying for. He's a pure devotee. And he asked, and Prabhupada explained, I was praying to Krishna to protect me from Maya. Prabhupada, but we are a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, no, the difference between myself and your people is that you don't fear Maya. I fear Maya. Yes. That's why I always pray to Krishna. But you don't fear Maya. So when the living entity begin to fear Maya, and then the liberation begin. But when we don't fear Maya, it means the Maya got us in her grip. Yes. This is explained in the, what do you say, third canto, chapter 7, maybe verses 11, 10, 11, like that. This is a discussion between Vidur and Maitreya. Vidur is asking a very interesting question. What is it that, he begins by saying that the living entity, Jivatma, is never unconscious under any circumstance. Even in dreams, he is still conscious. But why, or how is it that even though he is always conscious, but he engages in activities of illusion? How possible is that? The Maitreya Rishi explains, he gave an analogy, Yata Chandra Manasa. Just like the moon, Chandra is always situated in its place, but when it's seen on water of the river or a lake, it seems to be trembling because of the quality of water. So he explains that the living entity, upon coming in contact with matter, he seems to have taken upon the quality of matter. Anat guna. He takes the quality of matter. That's why he's trembling. That's why he seems to be experiencing problems, because of the three modes of material nature. When we are associated, or when we come in contact with Rajagun, we experience life in Rajagun. In passion, we experience life in passion. In goodness, we experience life in goodness. Sometimes in goodness, sometimes in passion. So these modes overlap. Just like give you an example, how the modes works. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita chapter 42-41. Vyavishayatmika buddhir ekha kurunandana. Lord Krishna says that those who are on this path, meaning the path of Bhakti Yoga, they are resolute in purpose. But those who are not on this path, their intelligence is branched. Avyayam. What is this branching of intelligence? It means influenced by the three modes of material nature. So the word that is used by Krishna there is ekha kurunandana, which is used also in the teachings of Patanjali Rishi, who is a master of yoga, that they use ekagrata, which means concentrated mind. Concentrated mind. So this concentrated mind, according to the teachings of Patanjali, it's a fourth stage of the mind. The beginning stage of the mind is called Kshipta, which means the mind that is disturbed. Second stage is Muda, the mind that is bewildered, or they call it monkey mind. Then the third stage is the mind that is unsteady, which we call Vikshipta. And then the fourth state is Ekagrata, the state that Lord Krishna is talking about, Ekaha Kurunandana, concentrated mind. So the three initial states of mind, the mind that is disturbed, unsteady, and bewildered are the signs that one is still under Rajagun and Tamagun. So when one practices any type of yoga, it's meant to help that jiva rise above the Rajagun and come at least to goodness. In goodness, he experiences some steadiness of the mind, and then completely controlled. So in that way, that's how the mode works. So any system of yoga is meant to help the jiva rise above the three modes. Like for example, the previous chapter is entitled Dhyan Yoga. So in this chapter 6, we found that Arjuna is asking questions, important questions. In Bhagavad Gita, there are like 26 important questions that Arjuna asked, apart from complaining. So in the previous chapter, in verse number 34, he's saying that the yoga that you have recommended seems unendurable. It seems impossible. Why? Because the mind is chanchala. The mind is just unsteady. It's very difficult to bring it under control. It's so difficult that it's like trying to block the raging wind. And then Krishna said, yes, it's true. So that is a state where one is overly controlled or under the Rajagun and Tamagun. Arjuna was going through these experiences also. So in that way, though these three modes of material nature can manifest in different ways also. In distress, the mind that is distressed, the mind that is bewildered, the mind that is always unsteady. It just means the control of Rajagun. So Krishna says, those who are on this path, they are resolute in purpose, meaning that they become steady by practice of yoga. So in that way, in chapter 6, basically Lord Krishna is teaching how yoga can be used as meditation on Krishna, how yoga can be work in devotion, how yoga can be freedom from dualities and designations, how yoga also can be used as a re-establishing or as a process to help us to re-establish our relationship with Krishna. And then eventually he explains how the perfection of yoga in the end is that of a yogi who abides with him in devotional service, or he says, and of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abide with me in devotional service, a rendering transcendental loving service. And he says that yogi is the greatest of all. And then in this chapter now, he begins to explain how that yogi act, how he can act in such a way that he can attain him. Yes. So that way, the Bhagavad Gita is bringing Arjuna to that platform of devotional service. After the Lord explains about Kama Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and about the Ashtanga Yoga, is bringing Arjuna now to devotional service. So that way, there are so many mysteries in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, but the goal is to bring Arjuna to pure devotional service. And that pure devotional service culminates in one's remembrance of Krishna constantly. Smarana. Oh God. Phones. Was that my phone? Yes, so in that way, in this chapter, in text number 29, also Krishna says that he's talking about persons who are actually intelligent. How they, or those who are intelligent, who are endeavoring for liberation from birth and death, how they take refuge in me in devotional service. And he says that they are Brahman because they know everything about transcendental activities. So we can see how in this chapter, Krishna, after explaining about the meaning of yoga in chapter 6, now he's explaining how actually yoga has to bring one to devotional service. Yeah, so this chapter, attaining or knowledge of the Absolute, gives us knowledge of how to attain Krishna. So in that way, systematically the Lord is bringing Arjuna to that platform of Bhakti-ananda, experiencing pleasure in devotional service by engaging in devotional service, by remembering Him in all circumstances, at all times. That is the ultimate goal of bhakti, to remember Krishna. Okay, I think I have 15 minutes. I was told that your class is finishes at 6:30, 5:30 to 6:30. Now you may ask questions, dear devotees of Krishna Balaram Mandir. Yes?
Maharaj, you were saying the mind is flickering, chanchala.
Yes.
That's the nature of the mind. But will there ever be a time when you can constantly control that mind, or is it a lifelong struggle? For example,
Yes.
I'll be very attentive in my japa or listening to class, and then mine is gone, and then you realize, without even conscious of it, it's gone. At what point does it go away? And then you bring it back. And is this a constant lifelong struggle where you have to constantly control it?
Well, it's just the nature of the mind. It's according to Sridhara Swami, the commentator of Bhagavatam. It has two qualities, laya and vikshepta, which means it kind of like is slack and then it goes away. It's the nature of the mind. That's how it works. But when the mind is constantly engaged in devotional service, it will always wander into devotional activities. Just like you can remember New York while here, but if you're a devotee, you will remember the deities in New York, the temples, or you remember Ratayatra in New York. It's different. Yes, because that's how you associate New York with you. If you remember Vrindavan, you can remember so many things. You can remember Loy Bazaar, where you buy saris, you will wonder what they have new in fashion. But if you are attached to Krishna Param and Radhesham, immediately your mind will reflect that. Radha Krishna Param. So this is the nature of the mind. It just reflects whatever we are, kind of like what we like. Yes, the things that we like. Even at the time of death, what comes out is what we like. We remember what we like. Huh? And yeah, that's it. I mean, I've been near death many times, you know, situation where there's a bang, there's a car crash, bang, poof, the mind just goes, poof. You just reflect what you like. So it's a nature of the mind. But if you like Krishna Param, immediately that's what will reflect in the mind, because that's what is there. What is inside is just like if we squeeze mustard seed, you get mustard oil. If you squeeze sesame seed, you get sesame oil. You squeeze olive, you get olive oil. So if you squeeze a devotee, you get Krishna. If he or she is full of Krishna, yes. So, but it's not easy. I'm not saying that it takes practice. It's just like chanting japa. I do japa retreats for university students and young people. I see even devotees who have been chanting maybe for 20, 30, 40 years. They cannot sit down like and chant for 1 hour without dozing, falling asleep. Huh? Have you noticed that? Even all devotees. I noticed because as a japa instructor, I had to practice to chant like sit straight, not putting cushions like this. Chant very clearly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when you listen to devotees chanting because of sleep, they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. It's like Nidra Devi is really occupying the space of this devotee. Yeah, the goddess of sleep. See? Why is that? Rajagun and Damagun come and occupy our space. So if someone can chant very clearly without falling asleep for 2 hours straight, yeah, it means Rajagun and Damagun now is lesser in his life. He is more like dominated by Sattvagun. Yeah. So, but that takes practice, takes discipline. When you adopt to a certain discipline, it's just like in sports. You train, you practice, you train. And then when you go and play on the field, you know, the body will react just naturally. You don't wonder, okay, what should I do with this ball? No, it just comes naturally. If the ball comes this way, this is how I receive it. This is how I, if it's tennis, this is how I hit it. If it comes, like that. These things come from practice. So in a similar way, in devotional service, we practice. And then later on, we come to the stage of flowing. Just like Ganga is forever flowing to the sea. Does not ask questions. Am I flowing in the right direction? Is constantly flowing. So that's a stage when we are not really so much under Rajagun and Damagun. There's a flow. We are just flowing. The holy name is just so sweet. There is no sleep. It's just like you can chant and chant and chant and chant. Yeah. So, but it takes discipline and practice. Even if you wear too many hats while chanting, they make you fall asleep. Too much warmth or cushion, that makes you fall asleep. That is why in the beginning of the chapter 6, Krishna is telling Arjuna how a yogi in the forest, he has to build a seat. It should not be too high or too low. Yeah, like that. So also when we chant japa, sitting on that sofa there, immediately the sofa makes you sleep. Because it's built for that. Yeah, it makes you sleep. You should be in a place that is not too hard or not too comfortable. Preferable a place that is hard. See, like this cushion here, this small one, is thin, it's good. But when you have fluffy, cushions, and then you become fluffy also. And neither they occupy your space. So in that way, it takes practice. Once we are used to discipline, and then everything flow. It will flow naturally. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu.
So Maharaj, could you please enlighten us? How does one exactly learn or grow to fear Maya? Is it by experience, by cultivation of knowledge, or something else?
Yes. Well, it's by knowledge, also by experiences. It's just like I was traveling in Gujarat last month. I met one devotee who last saw me around 95, 96 during Prabhupada's centennial. He said to me, Jagat Guru, my name is Jagat Guru, before sannyas. I'm surprised you became sannyas. You survived over the years. What's the secret? I said, maybe I fear Maya. Yeah, that's my qualification. I fear. I fear Maya. I said, maybe that's how I survive, because I fear Maya. What does it mean to fear Maya? It means that you don't have confidence in your power, in your intelligence. You always think, I'm not smart enough. Oh Krishna, please help me. I'm not powerful enough. Oh Krishna, help me. And Krishna will reciprocate. I'm not qualified. Oh Krishna, help me. But once you start thinking, I'm qualified, I know Bhagavad Gita, nothing cannot touch me. And then you are in the grip of material energy. Like in Bhagavatam, one of the seed verses says, how does this go? Rite artam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani. That rite means value. Whatever appears to you to be of any value in this material world, if that is seen not in relation to me, you should understand that to be illusion. Yata basa yata tamaha. You see? So when you study all those verses, the 4 verses of Bhagavatam, they are very, 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 very instructive. Before that, it says, no, now I'm forgetting now. It says that in the beginning, when there was nothing, it was I, the personality of Godhead, who existed. Whatever you see now in the form of this material manifestation is still I, the personality of Godhead. What will remain in the end, it will be still I. You see? So in that way, when we develop this way of seeing things, that everything is a manifestation of the Lord's energy, and then we can become more and more lesser confidence in terms of Maya, because Maya also is the energy of the Lord. But owing to our background and our material situations, we quickly become confident in our abilities. We quickly become confident in our kind of success. Like if I do well on Sankirtan, and then I can think, oh yeah, I'm in control here. You know, I'm in control. People are buying books from me like anything. I just say one thing, a guy will take 10 books, 20 books. I'm in control of material energy. Therefore, Krishna is warning us, says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmana sarvasaha ahankara virmudatma kartaham iti manyate. That when the living entities, when we think that we are in control of the things that are under the control of the material energy, and then we become greatly foolish. That's when the material energy binds us. You see? So all these things are explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So in that way, to become fearless of Maya is to maintain the understanding that we are not in control of Maya. Maya is in control here. Devi Hesha guṇa-mayair. Mama Maya Duratya. So Maya is in control here. The only way we can come out of her control is by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna, who is the master of the material energy. These things are simple, but they are not easy to understand. Simple, but it's not easy to understand. We are not in control. This domain, the material world, is under the control of Devi Shakti. So in that way, when we are convinced, it becomes easy to fear Maya, because she is in control, not us. Okay, I hope that clarified the point. And that is how great devotees live. They fear material energy. They don't think that, oh, I'm in control. But when we think we are in control of this material energy, Devi Shakti, that's when she controls us. Yes.
Well, then again, how do we reconcile all of this with what Lord Krishna is saying in the beginning of the 16th chapter?
Yes.
Giving the qualities of a godly person, and the first item being avyayam, fearlessness. So how do we reconcile the two then?
What does Krishna say? In chapter 6?
16.
Oh, chapter 16, yes.
Yes, as he's giving the
Qualities of...
a godly person.
Yes.
The very first item being fearlessness. So how do we adjust everything?
The first quality is fearlessness of an ungodly person.
A godly person, the first quality is fearlessness.
Fearlessness. Well, fearlessness can be explained in different ways. He is fearlessness because he has taken shelter of Krishna. That he become abhaya because of taking shelter of Krishna. Just like Maharaj Parikshit, in the end, he said to Sukadev Goswami, thank you very much for all the information. Now I have become fearlessness. I have become fearless. Let whatever magical thing that Brahmana has created come at once. I have become fearless. So the fearlessness of devotee means having taken shelter of Krishna. But when he is not in the shelter of Krishna, he fears the material energy. But when the devotee become abhaya, it means that he is fearless, having taken shelter of Krishna. Yes. Okay, anybody else? Thank you very much. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki.